12 years ago, a Christmas tradition began when a train rolled out of Sydney's Central Station to embark on a journey to bring the joy of Christmas to some of the most remote places in Australia. More than a decade on, and the Christmas train has become an iconic part of an Outback Christmas for the communities that live along the Indian Pacific train line. It's here at Sydney's Central Station where our more than 4,000 kilometre journey begins to bring Christmas to kids in remote and historic communities across the country. Our transcontinental journey takes in 3 states and includes the world's longest straight section of railway. The first stop in our journey is in the historic New South Wales town of Bathurst, where we're treated to the first of many mini-concerts by our famous travelling companion, Brian McFadden. The kids from the local primary school are gathered around the stage and eagerly sing along to both Brian's hits and the Christmas carols we all know. The kids here, like the rest of those we encounter on our journey, have one man they're eager to see, the man of the hour, Santa Claus. And when he disembarks from the train with the ring of his bell and a big ho ho ho, the kids erupt with a cheer. We climb back on board the Indian Pacific Outback Christmas train and begin to get to know some of our travelling companions. We soon learn that one of those among us has an incredibly important job to do over the next few days. For most of the year, Bill Jones works in the mining industry, but for 3 days of the year he gives something back. He puts a smile on the face of and brings joy to some of the most isolated kids in the country.
I just really enjoy giving back to the community, so I accepted the challenge. When I came down off the train and I was just swamped by the little children, and they just all wanted to say hello to Santa, and having the photographers there taking the photos, and the little infant that I was asked to hold was just amazing.
On board the Indian Pacific Christmas train, Reid Robinson, Sky News. Day 2 marks the halfway point of our journey, and as we head further west, the landscape changes from the lush green of the east coast to the red dirt of the outback. We soon hit the Nullarbor and are told that we'll meet some of the most isolated children in the country. After a couple of hours, the Indian Pacific grinds to a halt at the remote outpost of Watson. Looking out the window, there's a crowd of Indigenous kids who are eagerly awaiting their annual visit from Santa. Many of these children, with their families, have travelled hundreds of kilometres, some even camped out overnight, so that they can have their Christmas wishes heard by Santa Claus. The kids here are clearly excited to get a visit from Santa, but the annual Christmas train means more to these communities than just a visit by the man in the big red suit. The schools here use it as an incentive to encourage the kids to go to school each and every day and use the Christmas train visit as a reward.
Kids look forward to it all year. They always talk about the Christmas train, and they talk about, lots of kids don't call Father Christmas, they call him Ho-Ho.
It's something kids look forward to all year. Like, I came with them last year and they Jessica Malboy was fantastic, and they really wanted to back it up again with Brian, and then just all week the kids have been so excited, been counting down on the calendar, and they've been really looking forward to it, and Santa of course.
This is something that's reinforced at home too, with parents and Indigenous leaders recognising that by educating the children in their community, they secure their future and ensure their cultural identity is passed on to the next generation.
It's really special because the children are in a remote area, and it's good for them something like this to happen, and of course to see Brian also and Santa, but it's good meeting with people.
As we head further west, crossing the Nullarbor, the view out the window changes little until we're hit by a huge rainstorm that brings some welcome relief from the unrelenting heat of the outback. But as quickly as it came, the storm is gone. Next stop is the West Australian town of Kalgoorlie, where more than 100 people have packed the car park behind the train station for the final Christmas concert and Santa's final appearance. The kids here are excited as anywhere else we've been, but in Kalgoorlie we're treated to something many of us have never seen before, a traditional Aboriginal welcome dance. Although the Indian Pacific Outback Christmas train spreads some Christmas cheer and brings some famous faces to some of the most isolated towns in the country, it's about much more than that. It's about giving something back and saying thank you to the communities that support the train and make sure each and every transcontinental journey goes off without a hitch. Spreading some Christmas cheer on board the Indian Pacific Christmas train, Reid Robinson, Sky News.